So, hey, welcome everybody to a lovely new episode of the Counterpoise Podcast Show. I'm here, me, the lovely host, one of the lovely hosts, Everett Stevenson, joined with my other co-host.
Hi, I'm Samantha Adams.
Hi, I'm Malik Foster.
And today, guys, we have a good topic. It's about moving a mindset. It's about, we're calling this hanging or hang gliding, right? And it's about moving mountain mindset, right? And so the reason why we call this hanging or hang gliding is because it's like, whenever you're trying to reach a certain level of success or you're trying to attain a pretty big goal, some people get stagnant, right? Or they need to move forward. But whatever it is, in order to continue to push forward, you have to take some sort of a leap of faith, whatever it is to move that mountain. And the thing about taking that leap is either you just gonna jump off that cliff of like take that leap of faith rather, and you just gonna dangle there, or you're going to hang glide. You're going to use that parachute to maneuver to get to where you're trying to go, right? And so that's one of the things we were going to talk about today. We have some clips.
Sam, real fast and letting them know as well, like, because I think when you, like you were saying, like when you're doing that, I think one thing that needs to be said too, you can't hang glide from the sidewalk. So let's start with that as well. Like, if you're trying to take off and really be able to, like, make your way and maneuver through, it's going to have to be something that requires you to come up, to take levels up, to take steps up, to get into, a level that you're trying to reach. So again, like, before we even take that leap of faith, you know what I'm saying? It needs to be a leap that we're going to go to that has a certain level. And I know you were saying that that's a good way to go in one of the clips.
Yeah, sorry about that. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, my bad. All right, yeah, I'll finish up then. But yeah, like there was one of the clips that we were talking about rather recently, in regards to taking that first level, which is that, that come up level, like, because again, you can't jump off or move a mountain and, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jump off the mountain from the hang gliding standpoint until you reach the top of it. And you know what I'm saying? So when you first trying to get to it, you know what I'm saying? You got to climb it, and that requires you to get that level up thing. And I know we had a clip earlier that's talking about setting up that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Malik is getting ready to jump into this, so I'm going to give a little background. This clip is actually from Dame Dash. You guys know who Dame Dash, formerly one of the top guys at the old Rockefeller Records when it was Jay, Dame, and Biggs. And, people can say whatever they want about Dame. One thing he's going to talk about is being a boss and staying motivated in whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I know that's the first clip we're going to get into. Is it ready?
Yeah, I have it pulled up.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's going to talk about being a boss. He's going to try to find ways to motivate the masses, because anybody and everybody pretty much has it in them. It's about what they tap into to get there, and he kind of touches on that. But we're about to go ahead and jump on in to that. So
all right, let me go ahead and hop in here and share my screen so everybody can see the clip.
Yep.
Okay. Can you all see that?
Yep. Let's go. Yeah, take it off mute. Oh.
Yeah. There you go. Can you hear it?
No,
No.
can't hear it.
Hold on. You say y'all guys can hear it?
Nope.
All right. Well,
Well, hey, look, in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll jump into another clip that we have real fast. And this was a clip we were looking at that we deal with the interview recently, or not recently, it was like around that same time, 2018, I believe, with Kanye West and Charlamagne. And in particular, they were talking about oh, excuse me, here we go. You guys can see the clips now, or see my video screen rather.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I'll let this one go.
I'm gonna tweet later that I wrote on my retreat that was, you look at this mountaintop, and at the top of the mountain, it's all these tools for life. So you proceed, you say, I need these tools in order to win at life. So you proceed to climb up the mountain, but you need tools in order to get up the mountain, to climb up. You collected tools and stuff.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the top of the mountain, you got more tools than was at the top. And that's what I figured out about fashion.
Right. I think he's kind of just tapping into the fact that the higher you get, the more resources that are available to you, no matter what the dream, no matter what the goal is.
Luxury and all this.
Oh, for sure. Sure. Absolutely.
What did I love about Gucci? What did I love about Louis Vuitton? I love Tom Ford. I love the artist. And Gucci created a platform for the artist. I love Marc Jacobs. And Louis Vuitton created a platform for the artist. It's a battle that y'all don't know about. Francois Pinault.
I think with this clip in particular, one of the things that I thought that this was like a great one to watch is because a little bit earlier in that interview, they were referring to him, and a little later, there's another part where he references it, because he talks about like his whole journey within fashion, right? And for those who don't know, by chance, Kanye West started like a clothing line, if you will. He's been dipping into fashion for a while. We're doing different, shoe deals, label deals, things like that, collabs with brands, probably for the last like 10, 20 years, maybe even at least 10 for sure. And recently he had his own partnership deal, or I believe with Adidas, in which he dropped the Easy brand, and they did like shoes. And I know he also does some clothing as well. However, he recently was like evaluated to be close to $1 billion company as well. But in this interview in particular, he talks about going up a mountain. And after that, the next thing he said was like, while you're trying to climb that mountain, you see those tools. And I think later on in the interview, he references how like when he would go to work at these places, like, you know what I'm saying, Louis Vuitton, or, all these other like fashion houses, rather, he referred to, what he learned was like while you're sitting there going, like this were the tools that they had, whether there were certain materials that they used, whether it were certain stores in certain areas that they had, whether it was marketing or branding, all of those things that they had to build their brand, and what they had, the artists or the designers behind there, how did they, come up with their concepts and things. He was able to like kind of learn the game, and then realize that was like the mountain, like, you know what I'm saying? Although you thought really it would be great to have this job, working with this brand that, you always looked up in the door to, you come to realize that if you just have these tools, you can do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can get to the top of the mountain and be able to do the things that you wanted to do, and what you thought you might have wanted to do with someone else, you could do it for yourself and actually have, and be at the top of a mountain. You know what I'm saying? You could have that house on the hill, if you will, where you don't have to feel like, you just doing okay and you kind of all right. And you know what I'm saying? You associate it with something that's a little bit high end, but you also can say, you know what, this is mine, and, be proud of that fact, and know that you gained the tools that you needed to do it on your own by climbing that mountain. And I think that's one of the things that this show was really about.
Well, one of the things that he said that I don't know if other people picked up on was being attached to somebody that already has the formula, right? Because when he talked about Tom Ford or he talked about any of the other major brands that he mentioned, he said it's because Louis Vuitton created a platform, right? So it's almost like the form, like McDonaldization. Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. But so I was a social science major. I was a criminal justice major when I was in college. And one of the things that we learned about is like when you're talking about society and when you create a formula, how does it affect society? So McDonald's had this formula that created this big boom, right? And from it, you have different franchises. You have all these people that make all this money off of McDonald's. Everybody has eaten well, not everybody, but there's now McDonald's all over the world, right? And no matter what McDonald's you go to, if I go to McDonald's here in Atlanta, I go in Miami, I go to Boston, I go to Detroit, I go to California, no matter where I go, I get French fries, they're gonna taste the same. You know what I'm saying? Because they have this formula that it's a blueprint. You know what I mean? And then the thing about that blueprint and the way that it boomed, other companies were able to create their own lane with that same type of formula, like Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have all these, Burger King even. And so I think the other thing that he kind of discussed was attaching yourself to that formula. When you learn that formula, you'll be able to put yourself in a position where you can create what it is you want to create, whether it be that clothing line or whether it be a restaurant or whatever that thing is. You want to find yourself in alignment with with someone who's already paved the way or where that lane has already been kind of created. Yeah, you can throw your own funk on it. Yeah, you can even change the game. But at the same time, that lane has already been paved for you, right? In some circumstances, though, when you're trying to create something that nobody's ever created, or go down a road that's never really been traveled, like you're in uncharted territory, it's going to be a lot more difficult because it's uncharted territory. People don't know how to give guidance. Like even if you have a mentor, at best they can tell you what they see or what they think based on their own experiences, but that experience is always going to be different. Like Jay-Z said, we don't have the clip of Jay. He was on like the Breakfast Club or something, and one day he was I think it was a Breakfast Club, but he has said something about when you're traveling a lane that other people have not traveled, people are going to try to give you advice, right? Whether it's solicited or unsolicited, but that advice is going to be based on what they see for you. And sometimes they try to deter you from doing certain things, not because it's because they love you. They don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you get hurt. You will fail forward, like Will Smith said, you will. And but you got to keep doing, you got to keep at it. Like Jay talked about how he said, I told my uncle I'd sell 1 million records. His uncle didn't believe him, but he sold 1 million records like 1 million times. You know what I'm saying? And so, part of the clip that we're about to show with Dame Dash is he's talking about that manifestation. So is the clip ready?
Yeah, it should be.
I can play it because I know.
No, it's ready.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, but yeah, let me make a quick point based off of what you were saying, Sam. I think I think you have a point with the whole business model with Louis Vuitton. I think you mentioned how they created it and the other companies, other brands basically modeled after that. That's like business, right? That's capitalism. Somebody starts something, it works. Somebody's like, well, how can I make it better? How can I tweak it a little bit? How can I make it a little different? Maybe I can add something new. Maybe we can implement a drive-through. Maybe we can implement a new product. Maybe we can expand the service or make it better. And I think what people do is find what works and scale to that point. And another point I found interesting that Kanye said was he discussed about how, while he was climbing up that mountain, it wasn't Gucci he wanted or Louis Vuitton. He was more interested in the artist, the owner, like Tom Ford, like, you know, how they built this company, how did they go about everything, how the business works, more so than just like, oh, I love Gucci. Like, nah, that's not what he loved. He loved the art of it. He loved the process. So that's all I wanted to say. We can get into the clip.
I always reflect on the year and all the goals that I said that I wanted to accomplish the year prior. I see what I did and I judge what I could have did better, or if it's better than I thought, which this year was a really good year for me, how to make it bigger. And what I realized and what I understand, and actually I always knew, is that whatever I think comes to fruition, it becomes to a realization. If I can see it and focus on it, it happens. So why not think bigger? You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just think bigger. Everything I thought about doing this year, I did. So now I'm gonna think about doing a lot of much bigger things. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then I put it all on a mood board or a board, right. And I post all the things, put up all the things I want. You know, Rocky and I, and we hang it right there in the room and we look at it.
No, there's a visual. They call it visualization board. Like you just have everything up that you want to accomplish.
Yeah, and focus your energy on it, because energy is powerful, man.
And people don't really understand how powerful a vision board is. Like to have things in front of you constantly where you can see them and you can just internalize it and know where you're going.
Well, you know how they say you have 10% of your brain or 12, whatever it is?
Right.
I believe that's like a percent of your brain you don't have control over, but it's a power you still have. Just because you're not aware of your power, it doesn't mean you don't have it.
It's definitely a super conscious. Definitely.
Every single thing that I've ever visualized and really wanted and focused on and worked hard to get, I've got on every single thing.
Right.
You understand?
You can stop
it. Where that really comes from is
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he made a really, really good point, right? It's about manifestation. Like, yeah, you might have a visualization board and you might speak things into existence, but all of that is manifestation and it starts from within, right? It starts from you having the confidence to believe that this is what you're going to do and you're not going to allow anything to stop you from it. And you having it feed your spirit on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that they both talked about a little bit was the energy, the power and the energy that you possess. You know, we all possess this energy, but a lot of people don't tap into it. That's why you see people reach a certain level of success and plateau, because they don't necessarily believe in themselves, or they don't believe past whatever's blocking them from going past a particular level, or if they're just fine where they're at, and that's their business. That's cool. If you find where you are, then that's good. That means you reached your goal, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But whenever you're trying to move forward, it's a hustler spirit, right? But the thing is, you're not gonna stop. You have to have that. I'm not gonna stop till I get this blank. You see what I'm saying? And then when you get there, it's also too, you continually visualizing yourself attaining that goal, whether it be losing weight. It doesn't even have to be just about a level of success, financial success, right? It could be health. It could be your physical health, your mental health. It could be just changing the way you eat, changing how you move in your life. It could change. It'd be a profession. It could be educational. There's a lot of different things. Like, the world is not linear, and it's not in a box. So, you got to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do without, stopping. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that. And one of the things that Dan was saying, and in the context of this whole show, and like we were saying too, with that, like, Dan talked about it, like, well, one, like the vision, like you said, manifesting, he's saying, you know what I'm saying? Being able to have that energy that you see. A lot of the mind is subconscious. So if you can just see that in your head, and every day, you're working towards that, you got all of your, thoughts and things on your board, and you go in, you walk out the door and make sure that you're trying to work on hitting, you know what I'm saying, as many of those things as you can each day. Like you said, you're working towards it. You're getting that in your head, and it's just going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. A lot of times, I think the boards are visual, and a lot of times some people have that internal processing in their head that they can just kind of think about it and manifest it on their head, and they just, I got to go get to it. I got to get to it. I got to get to it. You feel me? But I think another thing that Dan talked about as well was just having that confidence in yourself, and I think that's super huge. Like, I know a lot of people who, do, and some that, and unfortunately many more who don't. have that same type of ultimate belief in themselves. And I don't know what it may be that goes through things people go through in life that may, attack that in them. But I would encourage anyone to make sure that if you've ever felt that way, to like give yourself that next chance to see if you do exactly what he said. Because it's another thing you might have missed. He said, if I really focus on that thing, I have never not been able to attain it. That's critical because if you don't know a level of focus and determination, you might miss what he's saying, because it's not if I want it really bad. It's not if I think and manifest it and draw pictures of it really well. It's if I focus on it well. So focus can become anything from, you know what I'm saying, cutting out distractions. It can become anything from, you know what I'm saying, and whatever that may be, from friends, you know what I'm saying, to parties, to whatever it is. To so like whatever that is that you might have to do to add in that extra time to get you to where you're trying to get to, I think is like, critical, because that's that level of focus that I think that Dan was referring to. And he said he's been able to do all of the things that he wanted. And for me, I think he's one of the greatest people, you know what I'm saying, as far as like energy wise and as far as like, mentality wise. Sometimes it might not come off right, you know what I mean, the way people like it, but I do think that ultimately the stuff that he's talking about is good stuff for the whole, you know what I'm saying? And so, having that confidence, I also wanted to go back to that. Having that confidence is important because, like you said, like if you know that, you know what I'm saying, you are going to be able to do the things that you want to do, just keep working at it, and you know that it's going to happen. And I know some folks, once you've seen it happen once or twice in your life, you kind of know like, okay, I just know it's gonna work. I don't know how, I don't know when. I know some others might be, they might not be able to understand my vision or really know how I'm moving with it. But as long as I know, and as long as I trust the process in which I've trusted get me here, I know I'll be all right. And I think like you get to that level once you learn to like be and trust yourself and trust, like, you know what I'm saying, your abilities to, navigate things that you want to get to. So yeah, I think that was a super big thing that Dan was talking about in regards to, setting up the dream, having that confidence. I think Ye set us up again from now climbing up the mountain, you know what I'm saying, getting up there, picking up those tools as you're getting to where you're trying to go. And then we talked about as well, which was, taking off and cliff diving. So once you on that mountain, because it's like you might get there, you're doing what you gotta do. And as we like to say nowadays, you run to a bag, right? So you done ran up your bag, you got yourself in that position. Now the next thing you're trying to do is get that safe landing. Because you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to have it, and then it's another thing to keep it and be, you know what I'm saying, in good health. So, you taking the risk getting all the way up there. It's a hard mountain climb. You losing elevation, getting to the top, you know what I'm saying? That could be whatever it is, sleep, time, friends, whatever. You know what I mean? You losing elevation as you get to the top because it's harder, there's less air up here, and not a lot of people is playing at this level. So, you climbing, and when you get up there, like you said, you might get the things that you need. Now you trying to get back down to safety, so everything is a little bit more easy. You can breathe a little better, and that's why we said hang gliding, because it's like you get to the top and then you got to navigate through life. You might have to swift slide, swing and do some other things in order to make sure that you don't, run into these boulders, and you know what I'm saying, and you able to move and make your way with all of the tools that you gained as you climbed up that mountain on safe levels. So that's mainly the focus that we wanted to have for this show, and the ideal as to how, moving mountains, hang glide, and all of that goes into, manifesting some of the things that you have on your mind.
I agree with your sentiments, and Sam as well. I was just gonna add like discipline. So even while you're going up the mountain or you're hang gliding, you just have to have the discipline to keep going forward. Because if you lack the discipline and you lose your way, you're gonna fall back down to the beginning. So what Dane was saying was like, okay, if I focus on what I really want, I visualize it, I can see it. I also have to take action too. So I can't just visualize it, write it down, look at it, start it. I have to have the discipline to continue to take daily actions or weekly actions, whatever actions you need to take to accomplish that goal, and really focus on it, because that's key. So when you're trying to move up a mountain, you want to take steady steps. You're not gonna just be at the top already. You got to go from the bottom to the top. when you're going up the mountain as well. So that's basically what I wanted to add, because Sam and E basically said some other things that I wanted to say. But we have another clip by Steve Harvey.
Hang on,
as well.
before we jump into that clip, I wanted to say something that both of you all touched on, about something both of y'all touched on, and it is the drive, right, and the determination and the focus. And you know, Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, whatever you want to call him today, I think he is a very good example of what we're talking about. And the reason why his life is a very good example of what we're talking about. And the reason why I say that, right, is because when you look at Diddy back in the 90s, right, he started off as an intern at Howard University, going on the train every day to go back to New York so he can intern with, I can't remember which record label it was, but so he can intern. Hang on. And then from there, look at him now, right? But look at all of the things that Diddy has been through from the beginning to now, right? When you look at his career, you know, early on, there was like some kind of an incident that took place at one of the events he had. People got trampled, died, whatever. Then he had his record label, Bad Boy Records. Biggie died, you know, was murdered rather. Then you had Loon go to jail, Black Rob is sick, Mace left. Then you know, fast forward, Craig Mack died. You know what I'm saying? Like it just all these
Lil'
right.
Kim,
Lil' Kim was never on that label. She was one of Biggie's artists. But then Total, you know what I'm saying, wasn't really doing what they could. Like you had all of this stuff. But mind you, Diddy is the same dude who produced and pretty much, you know, produced and was a great producer for people like Mary J. Blige, Jodeci. You know what I'm saying? People like that. He's had great successes, but he's had some hard hits. You know what I mean? Even with Kim Porter, you know, passing away. Like he's really been through a whole lot. But one thing about Diddy is he always said from the 90s till today, I told y'all we're not gonna stop. Because he had
won't stop. Take that.
Stop, won't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like he got. Remember he caught that charge with Sean Paul. You know what I'm saying? When he was still with J-Lo. Like he's been through mad stuff, but Diddy won't stop. And he told y'all he's not stopping. Like
mind you, also you got Revolt, you got now, so modern day, so always re-evolving and always
exactly.
And that's another thing about the game is you're gonna have to do that in order to
stay
in the air even. You know what I'm saying?
So think about that, Rick. Right. So think about that Rick Ross song. At the beginning of the Rick Ross song, it's Diddy going the hell off on two dudes. Right. Now that clip of him going off was him really going off on people. That wasn't like staged or anything. He was going off, and it was somebody recorded it. The thing about what he was saying was, y'all want to sit here and try to, you know, pretend like y'all want to pretty much be flossing. Y'all want to be out here doing X, Y, and Z. Y'all talk about art that people got on their walls and people struggling to pay their taxes. You know, you got people working for you. You got to be able to sustain those people. Like when you at the head, you're responsible for mad stuff. And you over here worried about art that you ain't even got on your wall. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's what I wanted to say about the focus and the drive. Like you gotta have both in order to sustain it. Because think about it, like we said, he done got hit mad times, but he keeps maneuvering because those are the hits we see. We don't know about the hits we don't see. And we for damn sure don't know about the hits that he didn't take, that he missed.
Yeah, we just see the finished product.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what we see. We just see the finished product. We don't see, you know, the lonely nights, the crying. We don't see the tears. We don't see the sadness, the depression, all that bad stuff. We just see, oh, okay, now you're a successful multimillionaire. You got all these accolades. You got all these followers. You got a big YouTube channel. You got this. You got that. We just see the finished product. We don't see, you know, no one wants to see the failures. No one's looking at the failures. We only see the success. So.
And I think that's what's one of the beauties about the modern day, right? Because we have YouTube podcasts, right? So, we can really now get a chance to see people as they're building, as they're growing, as they're, what I'm saying, coming to. And it's like you said, like it's the document phase stage. Back then it might have took a lot. You had to get a camera crew, pay people for this, that, and the third. Now we just had a phone on and a tripod.
Yeah, basically just use your phone.
And you can kind of document the ups, the downs, or whatever. And so, that's definitely part of it. And I think that that's one of the reasons why, we all decided to come and do this, is so that, again, we can come provide a platform where people can come look at this, get an understanding of life, you know what I'm saying, and the love for, Black people, the community, and also, pushing a strong and a positive narrative for that community, as well as anyone else who's like watching, you know what I'm saying, that's a supporter of that community as well, so I just want to like let it know. And I think what we're talking about in general is just something that applies across the board, period, though. Like, this isn't something that you got to be a rapper, or I know we've used a lot of entertainers in today when we did the interviews, but this is something that anyone, like we were just saying, anyone who has a phone can document their process of being good. And we have another clip that's actually going to go into talking about how just anyone, you know what I'm saying, can be good at what they do, and how that can, you know what I'm saying, lead them to becoming great.
Person in this world has jumped. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
And this is from Steve Harvey as well.
Eventually, you are going to have to jump. You cannot just exist in this life. You have got to try to live. If you're waking up thinking that it's got to be more to your life than it is, man, believe that it is. But to get to that life, you're going to have to jump. Now, I'll tell you why I call it jumping. See, God, when he created all of us, he gave every last one of us a gift at birth. He never created a soul without endowing them with a gift. You just got to quit looking at gifts as running, jumping, sing, and dance.
It was just saying, it's more than entertainment.
If you know how to network, if you can connect dots, if you draw, if you teach. Some of y'all fry chicken better than anybody else. Bake pie. Some of you cut hair, color hair. Some people do grass. I got a partner, man, never wanted to go out with us because we stayed out too late. Come on, man, go out with. Now I got to get up early tomorrow. I'm cutting Miss Johnson grass. We kept laughing at this dude. Cutting grass. How much they pay you? He got a landscaping company in Cleveland worth $4 million. Because all he do is cut grass. But he was gifted at it. I got a partner on a detail shop making $800,000 a year detailing cars. He got 6 mobile trucks right now. $800,000 a year. All he do is detail cars. That's his gift. That's what he loves to do. You've got to identify that gift. Now listen to me. When you...
My bad.
Yeah,
no, I'm with that. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a good place.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely think that...
that's a good place.
We got the gist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
no. I was just gonna say on that one right there, it was like perfect because I think it lined up with what we were just referring to, which is like, again, you don't have to be an entertainer. You don't have to, you can have a trade. You can have whatever it is that you do, but if you focus and you dedicate on just trying to be good at it, trying to figure out how you can be better at it, trying to figure out how you can give the people who you servicing something of value, and it could be something that they can honestly take and run from it, and you good. And I honestly, whether it's like they pay you it or not, just knowing your heart of hearts, you good, because you're giving your best to something that you love to do. And like you said, you know what I'm saying, you working at it. So like we were talking about earlier, it's a process, right? Before you get to some places, right? So, you learn to fall in love with the process. And part of that is you got to learn to love certain stuff before the accolades come, because the accolades don't come towards the end. You feel what I'm saying? But you got to go through the grunt work and all of that other stuff during the day to day. So you need to learn to like take them wins when it's just like you said, which is this moral victory of, I gave it my best, I did what I can. And I, even if that customer don't appreciate it, I know I'm giving value to this world. So, hey, that's cool. That's enough,
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to, go ahead. No, go ahead. You got it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think good thing that Steve Harvey said was about taking a risk, because a lot of people want to play everything safe, but yet they still want to have like this unsurmountable success. They want this crazy big success, but they don't want to take the risk to achieve it. They want to always play it safe. They don't want to take any risks. They don't want to sacrifice anything in order to achieve their goals. So I think that was a big thing he said. And then another thing is having a relentless desire to achieve your goals. I think people, they give up too easily on their goals, and they don't, it goes back to the risk thing. Like, oh, they're like, oh, it's too hard, it's too difficult. You know, maybe they're lacking discipline. That's a major issue. A lot of people don't want to discipline themselves in order to achieve what they want. And another important thing that I think he mentioned about a lot of the people that he's friends with, like the guy who's just cutting grass, like he mastered his craft. So it's important to master your craft, because you can make money doing anything. That's what you want to do. So if you can master your craft and be the best person in your industry, whatever you're doing, it'll yield success. So I think that's very important to talk about as well. When you're trying to move mountains and climb over them, master that mountain and you'll be at the top. Go ahead, Sam.
So, you know, everybody's mountain is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are going to have a mountain that looks like a molehill to somebody who thinks in terms of just thinks bigger than they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need both, right? Because the world can't appropriately function without proper balance, right? Everybody can't be a boss, and everybody can't be an Indian and everybody can't be a chief. I know that was like one of those racial adages, but okay, better yet, everybody can't be the chef and the master chef, and everybody can't be a sous chef. Like, you gotta have balance. And so in saying that, when you decide, let me not even say decide, when you understand and recognize where your greatness lies, because everybody has greatness that's within them, but when you figure that out for you, be the best that you can be at that, as long as it's what you love, right? Because you can be really good at something and really just don't care about it, right? There's some people out there that can sing, but I have a friend, he can sing his behind off, right? But he can also draw. He's an artist. So which craft does he choose? He prefers art over singing, even though he can sing his behind off, you know? So even if you're multi-talented, you need to figure out what it is that you want to do. You don't have to choose one. You can do both. Look at Jamie Foxx. That dude does mad stuff. Look at Chris Brown. However you feel about him, dude does mad stuff. He can sing, he can dance, he can act, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's no rule that says you got to be in one lane. You can be in all the lanes that you want to be. Just whatever lanes you're in at that moment, be present and be great at it. And you know, when you're trying to attain that certain level of success, remember, I say certain level of success because that looks different to everybody. For some people, like, think about it. All three of us are lawyers. I know, without ever asking Malik and without ever asking Everett, how often they hear, oh my God, you're a lawyer? That's a lot of school. Couldn't be me, or more power to you. Stuff like that. We gain respect from our community based on the position that we have, but other people know that that's not within them to be able to do it, because it takes a certain level of focus and determination and loyalty. You know what I mean? Because you have to be loyal to yourself, because you can easily lose yourself in the process, and you have to be loyal to your craft. So, I mean, and that's going to be true no matter what. If you're a janitor, you can choose, if your goal is to be the best janitor you can be at a school, then do that. But you could also want to have a huge janitorial service company. Do that, whatever it is, even if it's somewhere in between. Because at the end of the day, to whom much is given, much is required. It says that in the word. And the thing about it is, when you're trying to jump and you're trying to leap forward, you're trying to move past a certain point or reach that goal, you have to understand that the more you want, the more you're going to have to put in. And a lot of times we see people with luxury, like you know, whether it be brand names and designer name clothes, foreign cars, big houses, all that. What we don't know is the work that they put in to get it. You know what I mean? We don't know how many hits they took. We don't know how many times they failed. We don't know how many sleepless nights they had, how much blood, sweat, and tears went into them getting that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they appreciate what they have because they know the work they put in to get it. But then you might have an outsider or a hater that's like, you know, they just think they fly because it's like, nah, I worked hard for this. I deserved it. This is my reward and I'm going to stand on it. And you got to stand firm in that. And that helps also feed your confidence. You know what I'm saying? I once spoke to somebody about faith, right? And they were talking about the sermon that they heard at their church that day. And it's kind of like that. Think of it like this. You're in between two mountains, right? And you need to get to the other side and there's a bridge. And the bridge is like rickety and all that other stuff, and you got to cross it. But then there's a dense fog and you can't see that far in front of you. All you know is to get what you need to get, even whether it be getting down off the mountain or if there's money on the other side of that mountain, food, whatever it is that you're trying to get is on the other side of that mountain. You got to cross that bridge. Guess what you got to do? You got to walk across it, even though you can't see to the other side. And the faith that you have is each step you take on that rickety bridge. You have faith that that bridge is not going to collapse. And even if you think it might, you still keep going anyway, because you never know where that next blessing is going to come. That bridge could be a lot shorter than what it is that you thought. But just because you can't see the other side doesn't mean that what you need is not on the other side. So, you know, I think I just say all that to say is to trust. You got to be loyal to your craft, loyal to yourself, because you don't need to lose yourself. You need to trust yourself, trust your higher power, whether that be God, the universe, or if you don't believe in any of that, just trust that whatever it is that you're going to get, you're going to get. And you just got to believe it in your mind and in your heart and just keep at it and stay focused and determined on it, you know? But that's what I wanted to add to that.
Right. I just wanted to add that, you know, discipline is key to being an attorney as well, Sam.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people think like, hey, it's so hard and difficult. I don't think it's hard. Of course, it's hard and difficult, but it's possible. Just have to have discipline, and people just lack that and don't want to do that. That's why they're like, oh, well, you know, more power to you. I don't want to have that level of discipline. I don't want to have that level of focus. Like Dane was talking about, the mountain, it looks too big from where I'm standing. I'm like, of course, the mountain's going to look big when you're at the bottom. But once you're at the top, you're looking down at everybody else. So I wanted to say that. You got anything you want to add? Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I actually have two motivational quotes for our little motivational minute, and then we can just go ahead and wrap up. But one of them was by Winston Churchill, and he said, "Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm." You know what I mean? That's just keeping your eyes on the prize. My grandmother always told us that. Keep your eyes on the prize. And one thing I say all the time is to respect the journey and honor the dream. You know what it is that you're trying to get in this life, but you know that the process you're going to go through is not always going to be an easy one. So you got to respect it, but you got to keep pushing forward in order to honor that dream. Because when you get there, you're going to appreciate it much more. You're going to do more. You're going to do more to maintain it and keep it, because it's going to be precious to you based on the things that you've been through. You know what I'm saying? And like I said a couple times before, Will Smith said it too, you're going to fail forward. You know, not everything is going to be hunky-dory. Even when Steve Harvey said, when you jump, you're going to get banged up, you're going to get bruised up. But at the end of the day, you're still going to keep pushing forward to get to where it is that you're trying to go. And the other quote was, if you do what you always did, you're going to get, wait, that one wasn't it. It was good things, that was it. It was good things come to those who wait, but better things come to those who go out and get them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a dream, you got to go after it. It's not going to just come fall in your lap. I mean, I thought everybody wants to hit the lotto, but if you don't go
Billy
play,
Bird gets
guess
the
what? You
word.
ain't getting it. Right. You
Exactly.
gotta go.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you ain't buy no ticket. You ain't hitting nobody's lottery.
Hey,
You hitting the wish lottery.
seize the day.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all of these different adages that are out there. So, you know, for my final thought, just keep pushing forward. Keep respecting yourself, respecting your journey, stay loyal to yourself and true to yourself and true to the journey and the dream. Because at the end of the day, you can't, even if you get it, if you don't have that appreciation and respect for it, you're not going to keep it. So, you can get there, you can move mountains. Just stay focused and stay true to yourself and remember to dream big.
All right. So yeah, me coming in, I just want to say lastly, that for with this show in mind, I encourage everyone just to, again, like she said, dream big. Never be afraid of what it is that you want to. Never feel like you at a certain age or too old to have dreams. You know what I'm saying? Always be willing to work towards something. In life, it kind of just gives you something to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Wake up, you have a purpose, a meaning if you know what you're going after to go do, instead of just surviving, right? And just living. So have your goals, have those things that's like motivating you each day as you're getting up and going. And then also, keep climbing your mountains, you know what I'm saying? And don't be afraid to take jumps, multiple jumps if you have to, you know what I'm saying? Also, be able to be encouraged. Don't listen to the naysayers or the haters, as they say. Be able to look at your journey, focus on that, and watch your development as you continue to develop, and drown out the noise, is what they say. You know what I mean? And you do that by just focusing in more on what you're working on, and what you're building. And I'm telling you, the results is gonna come. Like I said, I can only speak for myself, and I feel pretty good about the things that I've been able to do in my life so far. And so I'm able to say this affirmatively, that if you do those things, you will be able to get where you're trying to go. And again, not saying that there's a end process. Of course, is going to continue to develop. So you might jump off a mountain, hang glide to a bigger mountain. You know what I'm saying? And so now, you know what I'm saying? Now you got to put your hang glide gear up, get right back up to climbing, picking up more and more pieces as you're going. You know what I'm saying? And now you hang glide to the other village, to the other side, to go climb on that one. But it's never a stop. It's always a journey that continues to go until you feel like Sam said too, that you've gotten to a place that you feel comfortable, and you're good where you want to be at, because that's also good. I don't think that no one should have to feel like, I should have to want more out of my life than I want for myself, because twofold. One, not too many people are going to want more for you than you want for you. Like, no one's going to really work harder for you than you normally are going to work for yourself, at least as an adult.
Right.
Ideally, most of the cases, there are some outliers, of course. But so you're gonna have to go work for your dreams. And even if you have like something, continue to go after it. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing's ever promised, and you never know when and how that might work out. So even if it doesn't, you just want to be able to stay on it and stay ready. And so, always, continue to, view the best that you can do and whatever that is for your life. You know what I'm saying? And be encouraged to know that whatever that is, that, if you can, know that you can always make it a little bit better if that's what you want to do. So
Yeah.
that being said, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say too, you guys can catch me on Instagram, anything else at that guy 2104 as well, and check us out on What's Up Wednesdays, you guys. And that is my final words.
Yeah, my final thoughts are that I think you when you're trying to move mountains, there's always going to be a bigger mountain or other obstacles in your way. So you want to do things that are going to help you overcome those mountains or obstacles, or if you're hang gliding in the air, figure out how to navigate it. What's going to help you, teach you, so you can educate yourself on how to actually get over these obstacles, how to navigate through these turbulent winds if you're hang gliding, or whatever you're doing, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish. So for me, like reading growth books, like an example is Think and Grow Rich. That really helps with the desire, the discipline, visualizing stuff, building a vision board, as they were talking about in the Dame Dash clip, and actually writing things out, reading it to yourself, positive affirmations, those kind of things really help shape your mind so it can get into your subconscious so you can start actually living out that stuff. So if you want to achieve a goal, you want to write it down, you want it to be a part of you, you want to take steps, daily actions, weekly actions towards accomplishing that goal. So that really helped me out. And I think once you develop the habit, they say 21 days to build a habit. So just try it for 21 days and then make it part of your routine. And then you'll develop that discipline you need in order to achieve your goal, in order to go over that mountain. And you can follow me at Malik M. Foster on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all social medias. And also please like and subscribe to this video as well. Sam, do you want to plug in your social medias for people?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Facebook at Samantha Adams -ESQ or on IG at Samantha Renee 77, and that's SAMANTHARENEE 77_ESQ. Also, go ahead, like Malik and E both said, check us out, follow us on YouTube at Counterpoise Podcast. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, same thing, Counterpoise Podcast. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and tap in. What's Up Wednesdays, we go on at 8:00, and we engage. So you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and tap in with us on IG on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. for What's Up Wednesday, where we'll bring you on into the conversation, whether it be we respond to your comments, we'll tap you in, talk to you, all that kind of stuff. And also, too, if you guys have any topics or anything you want to hear us talk about, let us know. We're open. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in. We love y'all. It's been real. Peace.
Yeah, it's been real, guys. Thank you for watching our video.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for liking, subscribing, and all of that. Let me take us home.
And it continues to work, guys. Much love for that. We're going to keep bringing it to y'all, new shows, new topics. We want to engage with y'all. Come on, let's tap in with us. Let us know what's going on.